Only Ohio is produced in association with PBS 45 and 49 and is seen on Ohio Public Television.
When is blueberry mysterious? When it's Smuckers, the finest fruit, a bounty of flavors for the many moods of you. For over 100 years, with a name like Smuckers, it has to be good.
Every idea starts with a dream. This dream was born on a hillside and has become one of Ohio's newest outdoor attractions. Hi, I'm Judy Jeffreys, and I'd like to welcome you to a new show called Only Ohio. We're going to introduce you to the many amazing treasures located in the state of Ohio. Today, we're in Ashland County at Ohio's newest outdoor theater, the Johnny Appleseed Outdoor Drama, close to Mansfield, Ohio. Let's go and visit this beautiful theater and talk to some of the people who make it all possible. We're talking to Johnny Appleseed himself, sitting right next to me, David Craven. David, is this your first outdoor theater experience?
Yes, it is.
And how does it differ from working in a regular theater inside?
Well, there are a lot of things in outdoor theater you don't think about. The dust gets to you after a while. My voice has dropped 2 notes this summer.
Okay.
I'm barefoot in the show, so it's an interesting thing to find yourself finding small rocks your biggest enemy. If I hit a small rock in the wrong place on my foot, I'm in pain for 20, 30 minutes. But otherwise, it's fun. I mean, we've had rain. We've done the whole second act of the show in rain before. 6 people left. The rest of the audience either sat with umbrellas or came under the rain shelter. But the audience stayed. I mean, it was just a nice drizzle, and they stayed. We did the show. Nobody complained. We did the show as if it were normal.
The show must go on, right? Nothing keeps that from happening. How does working in an outdoor theater compare to working inside? Are the audiences different?
The audiences are more responsive to a lot of things in outdoor theater. I think they feel a little more comfortable.
Okay.
They don't feel like they hear their voices coming back to them.
Echoing back to them in the theater. Okay.
So they laugh more. Children tend to interact with you more than they do in a live theater.
Okay. Do you have any funny things that have happened during the performances that the audience really picked up on? Any animals coming in or anything like that?
We have one rabbit who lives stage left, and he's run through the show a few times that I've heard. I've never seen him during the show. And we have mice now that came in the other night.
Oh, no. And the audience goes right to the animals. We always say animals and children are our actors' worst enemy. What other theaters have you performed in besides here in Ohio? I know you said Ohio's one of the places you perform, but any place else?
Everywhere in the country, from Florida, Arizona, Wisconsin.
What do you enjoy about playing Johnny Appleseed? What is it about him that you like?
It's odd and nice to play a character who is nicer than anybody you would imagine.
Okay.
I mean, he's the nicest person you would meet. I mean, he wears ragged clothes because he gives anything nice he has away.
Right.
He gives his shoes away. He cares for people. He gives people apples.
They said he loved animals.
He loved animals, children. You know, he was the altruistic person. He didn't want to pick sides in wars. He didn't, you know, he wanted to like Indians as well as white people as well as anyone, which in the 1800s was not always the case.
Yeah, and a very admirable thing to be. And when people leave the theater, what do you want them to take with them from the production? What do you feel that they may get out of it, or what would you like to see them get out of it?
Well, they're getting a slice of history of Ohio, but I think that I would like them to think twice about doing something nice for other people with nothing, not expecting anything back.
In return, right. Just kindness for kindness' sake. So, David, you're not from Ohio, but you're living here now. Tell me how it compares to other places you've lived.
I love Ohio. 2 of my sisters were actually born here. My dad got his doctorate in Ohio. A friend of mine is from here and has always called Ohio the heart of it all. He touts that it's the most beautiful place. We've been to Cedar Point. You can't help but love this area. It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it's nice to be. I've been in Florida the last 2 summers. We don't have hurricanes here.
Right.
It's cool at night. You're not sweating.
Right.
It's a lovely thing. I mean, I love the Midwest, so I can't imagine being anywhere prettier than here.
Right. We agree. We're going to enjoy seeing your performance. Thank you so much, David. It's very nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks to Johnny Appleseed, one of Ohio's major agricultural products is apples. Let's take a few minutes to talk to a lady who really knows her apples. We're talking today to Maureen Buchwald. Maureen is our apple specialist. She's a lady that knows all about apples. Right, Maureen?
Well, not all, but I know a lot of things, maybe more than you want to know.
Maureen has an orchard in Knox County. And what's the name of your orchard?
The orchard name is Glen Hill Orchard, and it's been there since 1912.
What's your favorite apple?
My favorite apple?
Well,
all
I
of
can
them,
tell it's hard for you.
I like sweet apples.
Okay.
And when a customer asks me that, I always say, do you like them sweet or do you like them tart? If you like them tart, then you ought to try a Jonathan. If you like them sweet, you ought to try a Golden Delicious.
Okay. You brought a special mill to show us today.
That's correct. It's an antique, and it doesn't have anything to do with modern apple growing. Okay. Ohio is one of the largest cider producing states, and this is a cider press that would probably date back into the late 1800s.
So Johnny Appleseed might have used something like that.
Something very like it.
Okay, to make cider?
Yes.
Okay.
And also in Johnny Appleseed's time, it was very critical to make vinegar because they had to preserve foods without refrigeration. And vinegar makes pickles and coleslaw and all kinds of things. So apples were very important to early settlers. The history of growing apples in Ohio really does date back to Johnny Appleseed. And you probably are aware that the Northwest Territory, which this is part of, was settled by many land developments that originated in the colonies but were west of the mountains. And one of those lands were sold to people at very small dollar prices, providing that they would help pay for a school, clear some land, plant an orchard, and let's see, there's one more thing. I've forgotten now what that one is, but if the person did that, then they could buy the land at a reduced price.
All right, okay.
So everybody needed fruit to get through the winter to avoid scurvy, which was a common problem.
All right.
And there are only a couple of fruits that make it through the winter, pears and apples.
Ohio, where do we rank when it comes into like the rest of the United States of apple growers? Are we the top?
Oh, no.
Who's the top one?
Washington,
apple.
Oregon, and California.
Okay.
We're about the 10th or 11th.
Okay.
And we grow about a bushel for every citizen in Ohio.
Now, Maureen, you wanted to tell me something about some taste testing.
Yes, I did. One of the major corporations in Ohio that sells tons of apples that are purchased from the Fruit Growers Co-op that I belong to have had taste tests all over the state. And what we do is we peel the apple so you can't identify
You can't tell what it is, okay.
And then we offer it to the customers who are going through the produce department. And in every case, and that's not an exaggeration, they choose the Ohio apple for flavor. Now, our friends in Washington State who grow the most beautiful apples in the world do not grow the most tasteful.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Thank you for your time.
In the Johnny Appleseed Outdoor Theater gift shop, you'll find all kinds of products associated with apples. You'll find candles, wood carvings, candy, t-shirts, stuffed animals, jellies, jams, and more. You'll also notice the beautiful wood trim and cabinetry that are made from the hickory trees that were milled right here on the mountaintop.
Here we are on the stage in this beautiful theater, talking to its director this year, Marcia Hanna. Hi, Marcia. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Tell me how you got involved in this theater production.
Oh, well, a friend of mine took over sort of pulling together the business ends of the production over the end of last season and over the winter. And she called and asked if there was any chance that I was interested. Actually, she said, come and see the show. And I did that and walked across the rain shelter into this house and saw this beautiful setting.
So tell me a little bit about your past, your experience, your background.
I'm the artistic director for the Human Race Theater Company in Dayton, Ohio. I've been artistic director since '91, but I've been with the company since we formed in '86.
Oh, wow.
As a resident artist.
I was asking David Craven, your Johnny Appleseed, what about the rain dates? You know, have you had a lot of those? And this has been an extremely dry summer for us this year. And he said not too many, about 4 or 5, and that the people are welcome back and show their ticket stub. It's kind of like a car wash. You just come back again, and you get back in again any night the rest of the season, which is really nice. And the period costumes definitely make the actors really hot, I think.
The costumes are one of the highlights of the show, I think. They were built at the Oslo Theater in Florida, and a friend of mine, David Kovac, was part of the team that put them together, and he has just done a spectacular job constructing these period costumes. But they are period, and they are heavy.
Very heavy and hot,
corseted. And there are 4 and 5 layers to some of them, so they're quite extensive.